All right, now we're talking around this situation, and it's really a medical one. So what do you think? Let's bring in somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. Dr. Huma Sheikh, a board-certified neurologist specializing in migraine and strokes. Doc, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Interesting spin, by the way. I'm going to make you a political pundit for a second. It is a good spin that good on him for going out there, toughing it out, showing what it is to struggle, and he can still do the job. Doesn't matter that his words aren't as eloquent as everybody else's. That's interesting. Now, what is the medical reality that you believe you see on stage?
So I think just from watching the debate, it's hard to know if I don't have the background, but from watching the debate, I do think that he has a type of aphasia, specifically a Broca's aphasia, which essentially means that there's been some type of insult or damage to the part of the brain where language is produced, but also language is understood. And I think for him, the major issue is his production of language, his ability to express his thoughts and elaborate on them. I think we saw during the debate that he had difficulty with fluency. At parts of the debate when he, I think, had answers that he had practiced beforehand, he did well, but when he had to come up with spontaneous answers to some of the questions or responses, he repeated a lot. He made what we call paraphrasic errors, where you say a word that is similar to what you're actually trying to say. He said bipartisan instead of bipartisan. So I think it's hard to tell from this how much his comprehension is impaired, because that requires different testing, but definitely being able to express himself and elaborate on his thoughts was difficult for him.
Now, in politics, you absolutely have to be able to articulate and argue and convince, so how you say it matters. Sure. But the basic issue is the brain function intact? Do you have the ideas? Can you form the thoughts? How do you break down those two different ideas?
So in the brain, cognition and language are separated, but there's so much interaction between them. So it's hard to say whether his memory, his executive function, his ability to make decisions based on the information that he receives is impaired. But the language, being able to express himself and being able to make those connections in processing. I thought that his speech, you know, there was a lot of difficulty with being quick on his feet, essentially, and being able to be spontaneous with his speech.
Do you get better?
So it depends. You know, someone mentioned therapy, and therapy can be very, very helpful, especially if you are doing it every day and you're taking a lot of time in your therapy. Essentially, what we know is that in the first 3 to 6 months is where you see the most improvement. There can be some improvement over the next year, but I think he's about 6 months out now. This happened in May. So I think if he was doing therapy right after his stroke, this is probably where has improved to the most. There might be some, and I think it's hard to tell because there are other factors, his age, his other medical issues, how well he's controlling the risk factors that cause him to have a stroke, how much stress he's putting on his body, whether it's from this debate or other things, will play a role in how well he does and how much of his function he's able to regain.
Now, you're a doctor, you're also a voter, you're not a Pennsylvania voter, but based on what you saw, would it be something that you would find relevant as a voter? Forget who you like, who you don't like, but would it have been relevant to you, or would it be something that you, knowing what you know, could explain away and make your choice regardless?
I think from seeing what I saw, the fact that he has difficulty expressing his thoughts, it would make me question, is that an isolated issue or is there more to it? So it would make me want to question that, and I think that would make me want to gather some more information and have him be more, talk more about, you know, what are the issues, be more transparent, as they were saying on the show, so that we are more comfortable knowing that he's not able to express himself, but he can make the decisions that are important.
And now, it's an interesting answer. He said, my doctor says I'm fit for office. There's a difference between being fit for office and being good at being in office. Sure. You are not going to make the determination that I'll be a great arguer. You'll just say, yeah, I think you're healthy. I think you can go through the processes. So it's a little bit of a hedge. He's going to have to deal with this. You helped us. Thank you very much, Dr. Sheikh.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.